For more on this story, I'm now joined on the line by Advocate Thabo Mokoena, the Director General of the Mineral Resources Department, and in the studio by the National Union of Mine Workers Deputy President, Philip Vilakazi. Gentlemen, welcome to the show and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Harold.
And starting with you, the announcement by Impala Platinum follows previous job cuts by Impala itself, and it follows announcements by Lonmin that they were also going to cut jobs in the platinum mining industry. This is a concerning situation in the backdrop of the job, circumstances that we find ourselves under in the country, isn't it?
True that, and for your privilege, when the letter was received by the General Secretary yesterday, we thought we need to do some cosmetic procedural issues to go and divulge that information. Very unfortunately and very shocking, we then see this issue trending in the media to say 13,000 jobs will be cut in the next 2 years. And psychologically, if you understand the mining industry, it becomes an issue of concern, and it is very much shocking.
So you're saying that you were engaged in discussions with the company and you were expecting some resolution to those discussions before the information went public?
Not necessarily. The notification for the intention to retrench, their letter is dated the 1st of August.
Okay.
We received it yesterday. If my memory serves me well, today is the 2nd of August.
Right.
And you can see the rush. But I think we need to make people aware of what this industry is all about. If you look at the possibilities, it tells you that the 27.2% of unemployment in the country will be skyrocketing as a matter of must in the next short time of whatever way that you can try and cover up this thing. But as a National Union of Mine Workers was saying, it's fine. We'll engage according to the statutories that are at our exposals. We'll check. I've read their letter. They're talking about what they will do in terms of the Section 52. But from where we are saying is, these jobs need to be defended. And if Implas feels the kitchen is too hot, they rather quit because the heat belongs to the kitchen. We are just recently from a summit where we were talking about how best can we fine-tune the issue of the industry itself. The main issue here is the issue of transformation. If you ask them, why do they cut? They are cutting all those areas where they've already depleted the minerals or they feel that now it is expensive to continue.
Correct.
And always when capital finds it difficult, the only area to wipe their sweat is to increase pains in this poor population of our people, the hardworking, less paid members of the National Union of Mine Workers, and many of those. But I'm telling you now, the unity of these workers in this circumstance is a bone of contention, because if we can definitely lobby those around and those interested and affected to say, let's hold Implas accountable to use it as an exemplary to the rest of those who are still thinking to do the same, because they can't run away from transformation. No. We are here to stay. This is our country, and for us to be black is not a scientific mistake. We are born like this, and if historically we're disadvantaged, it's time now that whoever was taking anything from us, we need to be part of it, and we're going to engage very deeply in this process.
Thabo, the department responded quite forcefully to the announcement by Impala Platinum. Just talk us through that and what your thinking is in that respect.
Thank you very much, Harold. Good evening to your viewers. We have expressed our dissatisfaction as a department in regard with the announcement that the Implas made in relation with the jobs that are going to be slashed. I must indicate that we have engaged with the company, and as a department, we have expressed our position, because the first meeting that we had, they indicated that they are having a challenge, they need to slash a certain number of jobs, and so we advised them that no, it cannot happen. because what we are doing as a country, our focus is how can we create more jobs, not to reduce the jobs that you are having at the moment in the market. And now the announcement again, as we all know that it is 13,000, but normally what happens is that through the process, I think as Mr. Vilakazi has also indicated that we need to see how can we save these jobs. But then our position is very clear as the regulator, working together with all the affected parties, Impala, labor. We need to come up with an amicable solution, because we know that it is not true that it will be 13,000 people that will be retrenched at the end of the day, which is a concern to us that, you can't make an announcement that you're going to retrench 13,000 people, whereas you know very well that throughout other processes, that number can be reduced quite substantially. And so, as a department, we have already interacted with the mine that we need to sit down and see how can we deal with this matter. The other issue that I just want to put to your attention is that there are some strategic options that the mine has presented to the department. They spoke about the optimization of the mine, restructuring, and commercialization as well. Now, we looked at the commercialization option as a viable option, because there they can get a low operator with low cost, and so in that way we can save jobs in the market. And so those are the options, or this one in particular is the option that you're going to explore with the mine. I must also say that the mine is amenable, but we are just worried with the announcement that it has been made by the mine today that they are going to slash 13,000 jobs.
Thabo, let me ask you another question on a more general level around the platinum mining industry, but it probably also applies more broadly to the mining industry as a whole. Employment now in mining is somewhere in the order of 450,000 or thereabouts, from a peak of close to 800,000 at some point, I think about probably 20 years ago or so. At the same time, the profitability of the gold mining and the platinum mining industries in particular, which are, if you will, signature industries for us in this country, has gone down dramatically. If you look at the platinum industry, which is the one in question now, there's now platinum being recycled, so there's less need for platinum raw mined out of the ground. There's the entry of electric vehicles that reduces demand for, from the automotive industry, which constitutes some 40% of demand for platinum. Clearly, in very much the same way as there are other circumstances that are affecting the gold mining industry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from where I'm sitting, you almost seem to need an overarching plan for how to address these issues. I'm not in the industry, so you're going to have to forgive me for a second here, but it almost seems like there's always a knee-jerk reaction in mining, and perhaps not unique to mining, when there's job cuts, when there's accidents, when a mine closes, etc., etc. When do we get an overarching overall compact that involves labor, the regulator, the industry, the communities, etc.?
We are currently engaging with all the stakeholders. I know that NUM is also participating, and all other unions as well. They are participating in this process. We are trying to look how can we maybe invite or create appetite for the investments in our country, and also to ensure that there is growth. But on your point of us reacting, I think you do know that we recently had a conference with the Russians during the BRICS summit, where we looked at various options that from now we need to come up with a strategy on how can we create appetite for the platinum, because the demand has declined and there is actually enough production that we are having in the sector, in the industry. And now those are some of the options that we are trying to explore, and we are optimistic because all the stakeholders are also coming on board to see how can we also beneficiate these raw materials that we are extracting. And so in that way, we can be able to create more jobs and also to save jobs that we are having currently in the market. And so as government and together with the stakeholders, we are working very hard to ensure that we come up with a clear plan in this regard, so that, as we have said, that we are overreacting. It's not a question of overreacting, and we do have a plan, or we are working on the plan at the moment.
Philip, back to you. The mining is the biggest industry in some 4 odd provinces in South Africa, including the Northwest, specifically because of the platinum mining. And that's an issue that's close to my heart, because that's my old stomping ground as a child. So I'm very familiar with the issues that are pertinent to that area. There's a general disaster going on around the Northwest, around platinum. And this has been going on all the way back since the days of the Lonmin disturbances, however many years ago. We're here today in 2018, and it almost seems like we're still talking at cross purposes across the industry. How do we solve this problem so that we have a common view going forward? And the DG has gone some way to explaining some of the actions that are being taken. But clearly drastic action needs to be taken to ensure the sustainability of mining in those areas, but across the board, even the gold mining industry, the coal mining industry has its own challenges, etc.
You see, maybe tapping from the point you are raising, go as far back as Free State. Gold has been there. There is a ghost town now. Just to give you an example, there are quite a number of areas where this industry has caused people stress. And we have been saying this even in the summit. We raised the point to say the regulator, Thabo, must then tell the public that our view to say the social and labor plan of all these mining houses should project life post-mining.
Right.
So that we do not have what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I must be honest with you, the only disadvantage of majority of South Africans is education. And we have got clear legislation talking to issues of skills development and. But if you look into how mining behaves, mining, the only act they know how to comply with is Section 189. That one they can comply with it without a doubt. But if you talk about issues of safety, issues of their commitment before they were given a license, we had an argument to say, in fact, what is the prerequisite of a mining company to start operating in as far as an open space, in as far as issues where there are people? Because we see that as if the social and labor plan is just a document to say to them, it's a free ride. You can miss your targets. It's not a problem. You continue mining. The point you are raising says to me, look at the economic pickup since the Marikana incident. Rustenburg is not the Rustenburg that you all know. It is really in the ICU. Instead, Implants and many of those, they are saying, in fact, they shouldn't resurrect. We must suffocate them. That's why we are saying, Thabo knows, DMR is a regulator here. Section 100, in brackets 2, in brackets A, it declares very clear that the DMR is the custodian of the minerals on behalf of the people of South Africa. And then we cannot have the very same people who have got minerals which they only lack that smaller thing, which is a skill, to do it in their own. As we speak now, in Skukune, in Free State, and many other provinces, people have resorted in doing mining in their own because they notice that the top-down ice cream mentality of the mining industry has bogged us down, to be fair and honest. The financial crisis, if you ask them in terms of Section 52 of the same Mineral, Petroleum and Resources Development Act to say, how did they manage this issue from their social and labor plan in as far as their future forum meetings are concerned? Zero. We are sitting here today up to 4 years. We're having 3 people trapped underground in Lily Mine.
Yeah.
The only time mining can talk cash flow problems is if they want to cut labor. We are saying to them, it is enough It can't be Uhuru like it was yesterday. In the formal engagement with them, because we never responded to their notice, we need just to respond so that we can agree in terms of dates of when do we meet and submit these issues. I just don't want to beat the drums now till the dancer is ready. And immediately we start dancing, we'll be coming here sweating. And that's where you can ask me what is it that you have seen. But as NUM, our experience told us, mining is not prepared to comply in terms of the statutes. The only act they know, I'm telling you, is to write a very beautiful English when they issued their notice intending to retrench people. But when you tell them, what is it that was there for you? Who made that particular mine to be old? Why today they tell us about the platinum price? We understand it, but what is it that they did at the time platinum was sitting at 2,000 rand? Where are the reserves today?
Yeah.
That's the point we are saying. And to my conclusion, and Harold, the issue is, who has more power in as far as mining is concerned? Is the government through the MPDRA. Today, I hear what Mukwena is saying. Mukwena must then say, as the regulator, we are saying to them, any alternative that is to save jobs must be explored. All avenues must be exhausted before they can intend issuing a Section 189. These people, they know. They say 60 days. And after 60 days, then we have got all this crisis. This thing that you're complaining about in Rustenburg, I'm saying to you, go to Free State. And we have got people who are educated, who are ready. The problem is, the transformation part is what irritates these people. They feel that, no, we can't have partners who are becoming burdens. It's a fact.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll talk again on this topic, I'm sure, in future.
Yes.